Opportunity won't wait. Don't miss your chance to own the metal powering the tech revolution. Silver isn't just shiny, it's indispensable. It fuels clean energy, drives electric vehicles, and powers cutting-edge tech innovation. Here's the catch. Global demand is skyrocketing, but supplies are dwindling. Visit noblegoldinvestments.com to invest in the metal that's shaping tomorrow's breakthroughs. As a bonus, open a qualified account and receive 2 5-ounce Silver America the Beautiful coins absolutely free. Silver powers progress, and progress powers your profit. Go to noblegoldinvestments.com. Joining us now is a great man, Senator Rick Scott. Senator, so good to see you again. Senator, we were celebrating together Pete Hegseth's swearing-in ceremony at the White House on Saturday. It was great to see you there. Your reaction of Pete Hegseth becoming Secretary of Defense, even though it required a tie break. Your reaction, Senator?
Well, Pete's going to do a great job. I mean, you know what I like about Pete is he actually fought in a war. He volunteered to do this. He led troops. He knows what it's like to be a war fighter. He knows people have lost their lives. He knows people that have been injured. So he's going to, one, make sure that we don't have DEI, we have the best people. And number two, he's going to make sure we're not sending people in harm's way if we don't have a plan to win. We're going to start winning instead of doing all these things where we just send our troops all over the world and have no plan. We limit what they can do. Pete's not going to let that happen. So I'm really excited for him.
And so the confirmation fights are ongoing. That one was a nail biter. What is the schedule this week for both votes and hearings? What can we expect this week?
So at this point, Obama had 13 cabinet members confirmed, and President Trump has 4. We'll have the Treasury Secretary confirmed tonight, and what we're going to be doing is we're going to be doing these all week. We did the right thing by staying over the weekend. Finally, the Democrats relented because they wanted to go home, but we didn't slow down our process. So unfortunately, it's going to take us longer because of the Democrats' obstruction, but President Trump has picked great people. We are staying here to get his confirmations done. They can slow it down from a time standpoint, but they can't prevent these nominees from being confirmed.
So, Senator, I have been skeptical of Leader Thune on certain things. I will say, though, I think he's moving at a rapid pace, and we have to give credit where credit is due. Would you agree, Senator Scott, that Leader Thune has been operating at a very favorable pace, even one that is making the Democrats uncomfortable?
Absolutely. So he's done the right thing. One, he's bringing up bills, all right, that are Republican bills, all right. The first one is Laken Riley. We actually got some Democrat votes on that. This week we have the ICC bill that would have sanctions for people that support the ICC, when they went out and indicted Netanyahu. But with regard to nominations, he's doing it as quickly as he can, doing as quickly as he can with the Democrats' obstruction. So maybe they'll eventually relent, but the only way they're going to relent is if we make them stay here. And Leader Thune is doing that. So I'm very appreciative of what he's doing.
And Senator, you deserve a lot of credit for that, though, of really setting the pace and setting the standard of what we wanted to see and what productivity we wanted to see out of the U.S. Senate. So, Senator, I want to now go to a separate topic here, which is talking about the California to Florida disasters. I know that there's a big contrast here between what we're seeing in California. Why is it that Florida is able to have such efficient, rapid response to hurricanes, and California seems it can't get out of its way when it comes to dealing with natural disasters?
Here's the difference. In Florida, we know that it's our responsibility to take the lead. So as an example, I had wildfires when I was governor. I had 4 hurricanes. And we didn't say, oh, let's wait and see if the federal government shows up and see if they'll help us solve this problem. We went and solved the problem on our own, realizing the federal government can provide some financial resources, but they're not going to lead this. They're not going to lead us out of this problem. So if you look at North Carolina and look at California, their governors have thought, oh, the federal government's going to do all this. We don't have to do it. So you look at California. I don't know why why they have wildfires. One, they didn't have enough water. Whose responsibility is that? The governor's. Number two, the reservoirs were not full. Whose responsibility is that? The governor, right? So What you have to do is, one, you have to take responsibility to prevent it. So in Florida, we've had some small wildfires, but we actually do prescribed burning in our forests, right, to make sure we don't have a situation where we can get wildfires. And then on top of that, when we do, which you had twice down in the Everglades when I was governor, we went and put them out quickly. We put all resources, state and local resources. We didn't wait for the federal government to show up. In California, they think somebody else is going to solve their problems. No one's solving your problem. You got to do this yourself. The federal government can provide you some financial resources, but they don't have a whole bunch of first responders they can send to solve your problem.
I think that is so well put. What is your reaction to the president who wants to kind of change up FEMA, who wants to change the way that FEMA is done? As someone who's dealt with FEMA and been in the weeds, what is the better way that we could run the Federal Emergency Management Authority or agency?
Well, number one, we need to make sure everybody understands the first responsibility is local, then state, and then the federal government can provide some resources. So I'll give you an example. When I became governor, I had no idea why it was like this. The federal government paid 75% and even more for debris pickup in our state when we had a hurricane. I never understood why they did that, but they did. But what that allowed is a whole bunch of fraud. So it took me 6 years. I finally got a bill to crack down on that. I finally got it passed in December because there was billions of dollars fraud. I probably saved the federal government over $1 billion of fraud just in one hurricane, Hurricane Irma. So you could take that for each piece of this. The states need to be responsible. The local governments need to be responsible. Quit relying on the federal government to solve all your problems. Otherwise, why do we have governors? Why do we have mayors? So I think what President Trump's in a position to say, wait a minute, the federal government can't do everything. They can do some things, but they can't do everything. And the federal government is just not a piggy bank for everything that the local or state government wants done. He knows we have $36 trillion worth of debt. We're running $2 trillion deficits. We've got to get our fiscal house in order. And part of it is stop wasting money. So there's a better way to do, after disasters, a better way for the federal government to be a partner. Because what they do is, it's just like the bridge in Baltimore. The federal government is paying 100% of that. There was a bridge built at the exact same time in Florida. Why don't we have the problem? Because when we built the bridge, we built barriers so if a ship hit the edge, it didn't knock down the whole bridge. But in Baltimore, they didn't want to do that for some reason. And now the federal government somehow became, you as a taxpayer in any other state, you're now responsible for that, building 100% building that bridge in Baltimore. That makes no sense to the rest of the country. Why isn't Baltimore responsible first? Why isn't Maryland responsible first?
What a wise point. So Senator, I saw another tweet from you that I want to make sure we mention in our time together here. You are enthusiastically supporting our mutual friend Vivek Ramaswamy for governor of Ohio. I agree with you on that. Tell us why you think Vivek will make such a great governor.
Well, I've gotten to know him over the last few years. What a great guy, successful business guy. I like business people that run for office since that was my background. Here's a guy that was very clear of things he wanted to accomplish to fix this country. I've been working with regard to DOGE for the last few months, and now I'm excited. I hope he decides to run for governor. We need to have a really good governor. A good friend of mine now is the governor of Indiana, Mike Braun, who did a great job in the U.S. Senate. So governors matter. If you want better jobs, you want better schools, if you want better law enforcement, governors matter. Vivek will do a great job in Ohio and continue to make sure Ohio is a leading state for education, for jobs, and for public safety.
Senator, I completely agree, and I'm behind Vivek Ramaswamy in whatever he does. And so I think he'll make a terrific governor of Ohio. Last point here I want to dialogue with you, Senator, is this Colombian story the last 24 hours. It's a very simple ask. You have to accept the people that were released from your country, which illegally entered our country, back into your country. What do you make of President Trump upending all of the traditional diplomatic rules and achieving a major accomplishment and victory for the American people?
Well, there's two new sheriffs in town. One, Marco Rubio, Secretary of State, and Donald Trump as president. All right? They clearly have let Petro, the president of Colombia, know that he is not going to play games. Right? So, he prevented the planes from landing with the illegal immigrants. And so immediately they went to work. I talked to Marco about it a couple times yesterday. They immediately went to work and said, okay, so if that's the plan you're going to have, right, then these are the things that are going to happen to you. And he quickly capitulated. He's even going to send the presidential plane to come get illegal immigrants to come here. What they did to Petro is exactly what we need to be doing to every place. Like, here's one thing I don't get. If Mexico is allowing illegal immigrants from other countries to come through their country to come to our border, they should take every illegal immigrant back, and they should be the ones that have to send them back to Colombia or Venezuela or wherever. They're the ones that are allowing this to happen. If not, we should hold Mexico accountable. But any country that allows their citizens to come into our country illegally, you have to, one, take them back, and two, you are responsible, right, for allowing this to happen. And Petro is clearly responsible for what these individuals are doing. He's made sure there's more drugs being produced. Here, look, he was a cartel member. I mean, he was, here's a guy that wants more drugs to be sold. And whoever his buddies, Diaz-Canel in Cuba, Maduro in Venezuela, Ortega. So he is not our friend. The people of Colombia, they're our friend. They want to do business with us. Florida in particular does a lot of business with Colombia, but we can't do business with a president of Colombia that is a terrorist, which is exactly what he is.
No, and that's not an exaggeration. I mean, he is responsible for the death of hundreds of Colombians. He's also a Marxist and deeply unpopular. I don't think he's going to last beyond this. Senator, thank you for your leadership. Looking forward to having you on with some regularity. And again, it was wonderful to celebrate with you at the White House to see Pete Hegseth get sworn in. Thank you, Senator.
That was great. Bye-bye, Charlie. Have a great day. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Keep up the great work.